Hey everyone. Alright, I got a special episode today. Now, this is really fucking awesome. I got BZPlasma. This is a guy who plays, like, probably more Doom maps than I've ever seen in my entire life. He does live streaming on Twitch and stuff like that, and I was introduced to him and found his channel and asked him if he would play through the level to do a test. So I actually have footage of him playing through the level, and it was a fucking disaster. You're gonna have a fucking blast watching this terrible event. But I'm going to go over why it was a disaster and how I'm going to fix this disaster. See, he was the first person that I've ever got to see actually playing the level other than myself. And this is actually not an uncommon thing. This is actually something that I feel is something that I probably should have covered a long time ago. Is how do you watch people play, and what kind of information can you obtain, and like what's the process of watching somebody play test your level and anything like that. It's actually a really big topic in and of itself. I've never once covered it, not on this channel, not on my previous channel. So this is my first time actually getting a chance to do this, and this is a huge part of the development process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up the video, and we're going to watch a massive disaster. Okay, let's get started. All right. So here we are. I'm just playing the video file that was basically copied off of the stream just by recording it directly. The quality isn't super great, but it gets the job done. Redemption of the Slain. Such a corny name. Alright. One of the first things I noticed was the complexity of getting everything all running, but that was probably just because of the way I released it. But it took a few tries and a little bit of spit and shine to be able to actually get things fully functional the way they were intended, even while I was trying to explain what was going on. So let's begin.
Alright. You know what? Fuck it.
I forgot about this. He actually sets it to realism mode and then switches it back because it's too slow.
Walking so slowly. That's the only gripe I have with realism mode. You walk so insanely slow.
So one thing I've noticed about I think this might actually be something that's sort of universal with streamers, is streamers don't play games the same way that people who are just playing regularly play. And this is actually probably going to have an effect on how I do this, because I want to make sure that he has a good experience. So this might be one of the first times I've ever worked on something where it kind of tailors a little bit more towards a streamer mentality. And a streamer mentality is that he's usually not only focused on the game, and he's usually trying to keep moving forward, and he's also talking to other people at the same time, so he can't focus 100% of the brain power on just the game itself. It's just a side. This is just a side note. This is just a side note. There's nothing wrong with anything that he's done. He actually did an amazing job with this playtest.
Hey, Mutikins.
Now, right away, this sequence did not even remotely play out how I wanted it to. Like, the monsters were all just chilling out in some corners, and he was just like wondering what the fuck was going on. That whole part right there was terrible. That needs to get fixed. Like, what the fuck was that? There's a shotgun guy over there. None of that made any sense at all. It never happens this way for me, but it definitely happened for him. I have to fix that. What the fuck? I mean, look how disjointed this fight is. There's nothing focused. What the? There's a revenant. Yeah, this is a mess. He noticed the air vent immediately. I figured a lot of people would have. He might be just very he plays very intelligently because he's probably played so many WADs that are just out there. But I wasn't expecting somebody to even see the air vent, at least the first time through. He used the barrel correctly. Now this is something that I'm not a. This part right here is not something I'm a huge fan of. He went through, he fought that, and he kind of opened up the next area before he actually went through and got the secret. I would, I want to kind of stage this in such a way where it's like this area happens first, and then the next area happens, so that it's not something where he's like going back and forth. And this whole sequence is not how I want. Like this area, yeah, this isn't very good. All of that, I'm not even really the hugest fan of the air vent. Although at least the air vent is like the one time in the entire fucking level where you crouch. Maybe that's something that I need to fix as well. Maybe it could be part of a secret. Yeah, there should probably be a couple more spots in the game in this level where you crouch.
I'm assuming you can crouch in this, right?
So from now on, when the level starts out, it says crouching and jumping is allowed while you're in the elevator. I changed the beginning sequence so that it actually says it. Redemption of the slain waits about 2 seconds. That message disappears, and then crouching and jumping is allowed appears there in the middle of the screen, so that someone, when they're first starting out, they'll have a chance to actually see that, and they won't have to feel guilty about crouching and jumping.
Okay, good. Oh, interesting. It switched dynamic music tracks.
not a huge fan of those imps up there right now. They seem to be taking a little bit too much focus away from the center of the area. Like, it should be a little bit more about. Well, maybe it's not that bad. Maybe I should reduce that a little bit and make the front a little bit more interesting. Yeah, you see that? It's just like a mess. It's like guerrilla warfare, just like I can't fight anything that's in front of me because now I gotta pay attention to these like 20 imps up here. I might want to chill with that. So this spot right here makes me feel like I should be doing something with this section a little bit because it used to serve a purpose, but that purpose is gone now. This is where the Marines, the friendly Marines, used to be sort of like hunkered down while they would help you fight this area, but that's been pretty much removed from the map. And I probably will never bring that back. But he's kind of like investigating it, and you can kind of tell by his reaction. He's like, "Huh, this is weird. Like, why is this here for?" And rightfully so. It is rather strange. I think it would actually be better to put the items that are below, or maybe a med kit or something up here, so that at least it seems like there's something there anyway. It's like, what is that? That was weird. Okay, this was the first part where things fell apart. He is 1000% correct. And invisible walls are a shitty thing that you have to use very carefully. And in this case, I totally fucked up. There was not supposed to be a wall there. Well, I mean, there is supposed to be a wall there. I don't want players going up there. But I didn't realize how much it looks like you can just go up there. Like, there's nothing that says to the player, I can't go this way. In fact, he was very clever. He was like, all right, maybe I can like fuck things up or maybe get to a height advantage over here and do the sequence in a better way. But yeah, that's not how it played out. So I have some plans on how I'm gonna do this. Actually, I'm gonna put an Easter egg up there. Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. There's gonna be an Easter egg and maybe a slight secret or something like that. I might put something up there like I don't know, something amusing that kind of indicates like, yeah, I fucked up, so let's put this like thing that's gonna kind of immortalize this fuck up because I think it's fucking hilarious that he just like melted himself in the lava because I put an invisible wall. If you use invisible walls, you gotta make sure the player doesn't realize they're there.
Well, that was my bad.
Now, carefully watch how the first 2 times he did that, he does this one more time. He forgets to get the chain gun, and that's when a lot of shit breaks down. So one thing that's worth mentioning when you're watching playtests is that something can be a total fucking disaster, but it can be such a tiny little problem or such a tiny little thing. It could be something that wasn't even really technically anyone's fault, but it snowballs. And yeah. So this time
I thought there was an invisible. I thought there wasn't an invisible wall there, but apparently there was. Great to know there was an invisible wall there that dropped that blocked me from getting on there. Maybe you should make it so I can't jump out. Especially if you put jumping in this. I mean, it looked like everything was fine, but then an invisible wall just completely blocked me. And then I was stuck in the lava completely. And there was a hot boner in the lava too.
Hot boners in the lava.
Like a Hellcat.
Oh, he didn't grab the plasma. Ooh. Yeah, he basically just, he had a bad playthrough this time around. So, now he saves it. Back over here, fight the 1,000 imps on the left side.
Oh,
Alright.
fuck's
Okay.
sake.
And here is where everything goes wrong. See, the chain gun is only available in that one part. But since the way this is structured, there's a number of things that I did wrong here. Since the way it's structured, the secret isn't something that you have to, like, it doesn't go from that part to the next part. He completely forgot the chain guns were even there. Like, he wasn't even thinking about it. This is going to happen to a lot of people if I don't fix this.
My mistake was not picking up this weapon first. That stupid invisible wall completely got me fucked over, and now I'm playing bad. See ya, Hyperi. Have a good one.
Notice how cautious he is. I don't know how many players are going to be like this. He's playing on black metal, but I always kind of imagined the player would try to like kind of push up a little bit more. Nope. Nope. Not even slightly. I mean, he kind of did the first time, but he's rather gonna play chip damage with these guys, and they'll eventually lose the fight. which is fine. It's the first area, you know. Now let's fight the 1,000 imps. Let's spend time dealing with these guys that are not even like directly in front of me. You know, I hate those imps up there. I'm starting to hate them. It's all focus gone. Nothing. He never got to even see the imps come up. There's like that whole ledge right there. He never even got to see that.
Okay, so we've established I cannot jump to the thingy.
Yeah.
Because this is a platform. And yeah, invisible walls.
Yep. I fucked up. Gotta fix it.
Hey, trigger happy assassin.
I got a really good idea how I'm gonna fix it too. That Hell Knight worked perfectly. Something worked.
Interesting. I do like the music progression as you play through it.
Once again, there's a lot of stuff that's taking his focus off of what's in front of him. It might just be because he's constantly looking for stuff.
It's kind
But that imp down there in the lava makes me mad at the world.
of cool.
Yeah, fuck. Oh my god, all these imps on the sides of this area. They make me mad. This isn't fair. Alright, I'm gonna go over everything that was done in this video. Uh, so it's probably a little weird watching it because like you're watching a playthrough and then it skips ahead to like all the stuff that I was fixing and then it goes back to the playthrough before I actually fix anything. I don't know. Hopefully it's entertaining though. Anyway, uh, I restructured this area so that this combat is a lot more focused. There's no weird encounters in this spot. Like, this is very much an improvement, I think, overall. You notice that there's a door here now. It's this section here is no longer a secret, but rather is regular progression. I added multiple air vents to increase visibility. I know that during the playtest though, BZPlasma had like a really keen sense where he was very easily able to detect whether or not there was an air vent. I was worried that players wouldn't see them. I'm still worried that most players still won't. But when there's two of them like this, it makes it a lot better. But also, there's like light sources in here in the air vents, and the air vents are cleared up a little bit. And this one's flashing, so it's really hard not to see. It's very clear. But also too, when you start the level now, as the elevator is coming up, it says in print on the middle of the screen, crouching and jumping are allowed. So hopefully people will see that. Most people do not read though. If I don't know, it can like start up like a hiccup or something like that, and they'll just miss it. But I guess we'll see how that works out. But this fight is way more structured. So these guys are facing away. There's a guy here to the right that'll, if you go too far out, he'll see you. If you shoot him, then you gotta shoot this guy, and then these guys come out. Then there's a cool explosion usually with the barrel. This is much, much more interesting first fight in the level. Since this area over here is no longer a secret, I've added a secret here with a berserker that I think the map needed a berserker anyway, and early on is one of the best places to put a berserker. So you get a berserker pretty much right away. And you come into here. I know that there's 2 chain gun guys, and you usually are going to get a chain gun, but on easier difficulties, these guys might not even be chain gun guys. So there's a chain gun pickup sitting here, pretty much to guarantee that you get this. Flipping this switch now opens this up, but it also starts to lower these bars, makes a very recognizable sound, gives the player enough of a chance to be ready for this door to open up. Once you go through this door, it's pretty much business as usual, but this fight is a lot more close quarters than it was before, and everything happens and like it's way more focused. It's way more of an encounter rather than whatever the hell it was before. Because when you watch BZPlasma play this section, it was just shit was everywhere. He was running back and forth, and then eventually forgot to run back and didn't get the chain gun. So it was just a complete disaster. And this should solve all of those issues. Uh, so this area here, the plasma rifle is moved up here, and I also made it so that some players can jump up and actually start the encounter from up here instead. I added these bars because I don't want the player to think these doors are somehow accessible. I noticed when BZPlasma was playing, he, you know, pressed use like 20 times on on this door over here. He's like, like wondering why it wouldn't open. And he has every right to assume that because well, why is there a door here that's just not doing anything? You put some bars in front of it. You indicate to the player. Now it's just for show. It's something that may not open ever. I hope that doesn't cross wires too much with this. I'm hoping that since this looks like bigger, thicker, this it doesn't look the same way as this, that maybe it won't indicate to the player that this is the same mechanic, and you'll be searching for a switch to try to open these up. Hope that doesn't happen. So I went through and made sure to monster clip pretty much every edge, and every once in a while I'm still getting a goddamn imp that just like hangs out in the lava somewhere. The last 2 times I play tested though, that doesn't seem to be the case anymore. Coming up here, I removed this crate. This should feel a lot better. Here, this feels pretty good now. I changed the music. I'm not using that track anymore. It's E1M9 for this fight. Now here's the fun part. If you jump up here and you do exactly like what he did and you jump across, you may notice that there's a hole here, and you crouch down and you go in. Notice all of this. You have 4 seconds to grab every single one of these items, and if you do, you'll see BZ, and then the plasma rifle will spawn right here. It's just an Easter egg, and most players probably won't grab these within 4 seconds. I just wanted to have something that was just kind of neat to have right there. I ended up having some trouble scripting this because it won't count those items directly. You actually have to like do something a little bit different with the script. So that ended up being a bit of troubleshooting. It's really fucking late right now. But anyway, that's pretty much everything up to this point. And stay tuned for the next episode where you'll see him actually, BZPlasma will be going into this area, and you'll hear my commentary, and then you'll see what I do to fix the area. I think so far with the playtest, the starting area was the biggest problem. Him not getting that chain gun really decimated the playtest. So with that said, stay tuned for more. There'll be more episodes of this.
Back from the dead.